Welcome back, everybody. Let's have a look at Bitcoin, Ethereum, XLM, COS and XRP, and we'll start with looking at the dominance chart. So the dominance, despite Bitcoin looking quite good, is still down, and actually a very sort of bearish looking chart, to be honest with you. We've got death crosses and we've got massive gaps between moving averages. We move to the 4 hourly, what we can see is that it's actually just getting worse on the 4 hourly. So this is one of those situations you rarely really ever see, to be honest. And it's a pretty interesting one. It's basically where Bitcoin's going up, dominance is going down. That basically means that alts are likely to continue to go up, even with a Bitcoin bull market. And this is until, obviously, there's either one or two things, which is a Bitcoin pullback, a nasty one, which will just destroy all alts. And these things can happen in the blink of an eye, right? So they can just happen just like that. Or Bitcoin decides to take the lead and just charge. But with a setup like this on the dominance chart, it doesn't really look like that's going to happen. So yesterday we made a video and we compared these two charts, which is Bitcoin and the Ethereum chart, which basically looked very much the same. I'm just getting used to using the new Binance website, so I've not even got my Bollinger Bands up, but we don't really need them. If we look at this just on their own, what we were comparing is how the price action looked the same. If you look at the movements of the candlesticks up until yesterday, that would be, but the moving averages were spread in a different way. So Bitcoin's is kind of making crosses, kind of zigzagging around each other, whereas Ethereum had already got itself ready and set. So you can see longer term time frames to the shorter term time frames. I've only got a handful of moving averages up at the moment. I'm just playing around with the settings, but you can see basically we've got the 10, 50, 50 EMA. 200 and that's the 100, sorry, and the 200 EMA, and that's kind of the sort of spread you'd want to see. So this looks like it kind of would maybe want a bit of continuation, but the RSI is bumping its head around at the top, so I think it might want to level off for a little bit. I imagine the RSI is pretty high. We go to a 4 hourly chart. Let's have a look at that. So yeah, it is quite high, and also the money flow index is quite high too. So this might have played out for the moment for Ethereum, and it could obviously make another nudge to the up, but it's looks like that was the move, and the range will be played. Maybe come back down to test this guy, 10 simple, or maybe even lower. So we're talking back to 250, 255, maybe. Bitcoin though, let's have a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's a different kind of kettle of fish. We're on the 3-day chart here actually. 3-day chart looking actually okay for continuation. So we have not got our cross yet on the MACD, but I believe we do have it on the daily. Let's have a look at that. Daily we do have it, and we're just making our way up to and above the 0 points. This is probably going to push us up now, I think. I think the likelihood of the move towards the descending trend line here is going to have to happen, and I think that is going to take place. We are in a resistance area at the moment, and pretty much exactly where we are, 9,500 to about 9,700. This goes all the way back to these guys around here, around about here. So it's a very long-standing area of support and resistance. If we can turn that to support, excellent. If we can't, then we will probably come back down, but I don't think we'll crash at this point now. In order for us to crash, we're going to have to start sinking beneath moving averages, and at the moment we're above all of them. So really, it's a matter of trying to break above this guy, where we are right now, this area here, and then finally the be-all and end-all, the holy grail, which is the descending trend here, which again, I stress this all the time, we've been consolidating since the parabolic top all the way back 2.5 years ago. So that's where we are right now. This could be the start of a bull market, if we break up above this level. So any closes above, we'll call it 9,900, but any closes above that could be and would suggest that we may be at the start of a bull run, and I'm talking big bold moves, like really big moves, So that's basically it for Bitcoin. So that's more or less it for Ethereum. Let's have a look at Stellar. Stellar, I've been liking the look of it. It's on the 3-day chart. Everything's on a 3-day chart here because I've never normally had access to that. So this one looks to me like it wants to try and make another nudge to the up, testing its previous most recent high, and probably there and a little beyond that. Is it likely to take itself any higher than that? At the moment, when we have a look at the moving averages, we are all very bullish in the long term. Anyway, we've been bullish for a while on this one. As far as moving averages are concerned, everything's fine. The MACD on the 4 hourly is just crossing up, suggesting that if we don't start to move up in the next few days, then there might be a problem, because the opposite effect is going to take place on the daily. So it's got to make a move soon, like in literally a couple of days. And if that move hasn't taken place, then maybe we're not going to get the pump that we wanted. Not immediately, that would be anyway. So we'll move on from that one. Something I've been looking at recently is COS. Now, it's a very small chart, so it's not really got a great deal to look into. However, one of the things to look at on the daily is that we're looking to make some of these really significant crosses for the first time in its history. We will obviously say that on a 3 daily. On a 12 hourly, we've already had those way back here. So actually, as far as this chart's concerned, it's looking okay and could start to make some decent pumps on this one. What we really want to see, though, is we don't want to see negative crosses here, so we just avoided that at the last minute. We're riding the top of the 10 simple here. That's got to happen. If that breaks down, then the whole formation will begin to break down. But we've got plenty of moving averages beneath us, so that's not such a bad thing. And also, we've been riding the 200 exponential up here as well. What we really want to see is we want to see this green 50 across the 200, which is what we always want to see. As far as the MACD is concerned, it's looking pretty good. You know, we're above the 0 point, everything's looking good. The RSI is making constructive highs here. So what I would expect to see would be maybe a little correction, maybe testing the 200 EMA, and then launching again from there. And finally, we'll have a look at XRP. So my I don't know what you call it, guilty pleasure. So here we go again, absolutely on the money there, on the which is to test the 200 EMA. So we tested that 200 EMA and broke down from it. Absolutely, of course, that was going to happen. That was the most obvious thing to happen, and it's happened here. Now, that said, looking at all these other indicators on here, it does appear to me that if we continue with this bullish momentum and bearish Bitcoin dominance, then I think it's quite likely that we will see an XRP break above here, and then we will really start to see some big moves. Now, we've not been above here for a very long time, and we've not been able to stay above here for a very long time, but if you watch this channel, you know that one of my secret guilty pleasures is XRP, and one of the things I've been saying about XRP is that it's actually a little bit of a sleeping giant. I believe that we have, and I will show you this now on the weekly, that we've been in a consolidation trend, just same as Bitcoins, exactly the same as Bitcoins, and that has kept us, how did I measure this one out? We have been stuck beneath that for a very long time, and we broke above it a couple of times now. So what I would say is we are basically in a accumulation phase. And there we go. So this is more or less how we had it. So we go back to the daily and it will make a little more sense. So the accumulation phase takes place above this descending trend line, which is what we want Bitcoin to do. It's not done that yet, and this is why it would be a big deal if it did, because it would spark the bull market, and the accumulation for things like XRP will then start to take off. All this level here, you can see it's basic sideways since we broke out of here for the last time. First time we broke out of here, everyone got excited, including myself, made a nice trade on that, it's about 25%, and then we crashed. We broke above it again and got rejected from the 200 EMA, so it was obvious that the next few times we were going to test it, we will be rejected, which is what we did the other week, and again today. But when we break above here and that remains as supported, and Bitcoin can break above this level here and be supported and continue with its rally, XRP is going to start making some big moves. This isn't going to be the XRP that you saw last year. This is going to be a different XRP. It's going to be one that's going to surprise everybody, because we've been in downtrend for so long, and we've had a lot of time to accumulate at low levels. Plus, the chart has told us that actually the bear market is officially over. We're in accumulation phase with XRP. So I'm telling you now, everything is going to be pretty sweet for XRP as soon as we get above the two things we've got to look at basically is getting above and being supported above the 200 exponential, allowing that to have an uptrend, which we've not had for a significant amount of time, for a couple of years basically. We will need an uptrend on that. That will then start to really start to pick up some moves, and we also need Bitcoin to break above its descending trend to spark the bull market. So those two things together, and obviously dominance being down would be nice as well. Those two things together will cause huge moves in XRP, and it'll be shocking to most people. I don't think it's going to be shocking to me. It's what I expect. Anyway, I'll leave it with you there. Thanks for watching. Hope you have a nice evening. Take it easy.